You are listening to the East Texas Banner right here at easttexasbanner.com. We've got the privilege today of sitting down with Newton County Judge Ronnie Cochran. Judge Cochran, I really appreciate you sitting down with us again.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, big news in the world of Newton County. It seems like some of the things we thought were in the appeals process and hopefully going away are not going away.
They didn't go away. We were hoping for it, but they did not.
So let's do this. Let's if you have some sort of a breakdown, from beginning to now, do you kind of have a timeline?
I do.
Okay.
All right. In 2020, Newton County bought out they bought out multiple homes, but the last 7 are under DR 4266 TX011 were bought out. And there was some talk, the county had contracted with Sabine River Authority.
Okay.
And with O'Brien, as part of the grant was they had to have debris monitoring along with the teardowns, to make sure the material was going to the landfill. Everything was done correct.
Sure.
That was part of the federal grant. So Sabine River Authority wanted to use the concrete on the slabs for basically riprap, erosion control. So they paused the teardowns to get approval, and that had to go all the way to Washington, D.C. from FEMA.
Okay.
So when that finally happened,
do you know when that happened?
I don't know when they got the exact word of, but that put a pause on the teardowns for a while.
Okay.
All right, and then there was an extension filed, and then, 2021 COVID hit, shut the world down.
Okay.
So nothing was done, with these 7 houses. Come along, 2022, I won the election.
Okay.
And I just found out from you when the appeal was, not appeal, but an extension was applied for in September.
September or October, from what I understand.
Okay, to try to get 6 more months on the teardowns. All right, when I came in 2023, kind of overwhelmed with a lot of different things. I knew nothing about the 7 properties left.
Okay.
And then on February 24th of 2023, I was notified by our grant administrator that, hey, we still had 7 properties and about 30 days to tear them down. So
your grant administrator notified you on February 24th.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess my next question is, what happened to the grant administrator from January 1st to February 24th? I mean, where was the grant administrator? At that point.
At that point, they're in Tyler, Texas. So,
okay.
And
who is that?
It's Traylor and Associates.
Okay.
They do excellent work for the county.
So that's the grant administrator,
yes.
Traylor and Associates?
And Newton County, I guess they thought, that we knew that we had the properties. But, when I took office, the previous grant writer or grant person for the county took another job.
Right.
The previous administration, as far as judge, they all left. There was no words, I had no inclination we had 7 properties until the February 24th.
Right.
That we had 30 days to get them demoed.
Right.
And 2 of them had asbestos on them.
Okay.
So we had to there was contracts were expired with Sabine River Authority and with the debris monitoring company with O'Brien.
Okay.
So I immediately got Mark Taylor to file for a 3rd extension. And then that came back as denied.
So it came back as denied. Now, is that extension specifically for the payment?
No, that's for the tear downs on the 7 properties.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this correctly. So you've and that's the most recent one that was denied?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the third extension you guys have applied for?
Yes, and that was in 2023. Extension on to be able the extension of the grant to be able to tear down the homes
Okay.
that were purchased in 2020.
Okay. So I guess, was there any way to extend the grant itself? Meaning the term of the grant?
No, they had
Because, I mean, you think about with COVID, they'd make some sort of...
Well, I guess they figured the exception they made was, they extended it out to March of 2023. So that was their, we've already gave you 2 extensions.
Right.
We're not going to give you another one.
Did they give you any reason why?
No. Other than we've had 2, we're not giving you another one.
And this was TDEM.
Yes, but it was sent to TDEM, and then TDEM sent it to FEMA.
Okay. So FEMA basically rejected it.
Yes.
Okay.
TDEM is like the intermediary for the grant.
I got you. So how much do we owe at this point?
Well, right now we owe TDEM $806,000.
Okay.
And that's the purchase price on the 7 properties that were not demolished.
Okay.
All right. Now, once we got the denial, the court decided to go ahead and demolish the houses per the federal rules. We got the contract back with Wood O'Brien, which was debris monitoring company.
Right.
Re-signed the contract with Sabine River Authority. So now we paid Wood O'Brien outright. Now, Sabine River Authority tore down the houses and told the county, hey, we know you're in financial bind right now. When you're able to pay it, we'll submit these invoices.
Do you recall who actually said that?
I want to say it's maybe Travis or David Montaigne. Travis Williams or David Montaigne with Sabine River Authority.
So where are we at with Sabine River Authority?
Okay, Sabine River Authority, hey, it's time to pay for the demolition. So we owe Sabine River Authority $191,000 for the demolition and asbestos abatement on the 7 properties.
Are these 7 properties? So, okay, I'm kind of slow on some of this. So FEMA comes in, they're going to do a buyout of properties that have been historically flooded.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. They do the buyout. They basically provide the county the money.
Yes.
Through TDEM. The county then has to turn around, use the money for demolition.
We have to buy the property out.
You got to buy the property and then
demo the properties out.
Get them back to natural habitat.
Yes. Take the property back to its natural state.
Yep.
And then the property, there's Stafford Act is listed on the deed where the property can never be used to build on again.
Okay.
So it basically takes the property belongs to the county, but it's out of circulation for any type of building. I mean, you could put a park or something on it, but
yeah,
most
but
of
you can't put a home on it.
You can't put a home.
It's not like you can put it back out on the market.
No.
Okay. All right. So those 7 houses were a part of that process.
Yes.
Okay. So in the appeals time, the new commissioner's court, from the time you took over, I say the new commissioner's court, it was you and Leonard Powell, y'all came in together, right?
Yes.
And then you had, I think, Tick Fomby, Philip White, and then
Danny Benson.
Then Danny Benson. Okay. So that commissioner's court decided during the appeals process.
Well, we wasn't able to appeal yet because the grant wasn't closed out.
Okay.
So we decided to, take a chance, go ahead and tear the properties down to the proper guidelines through FEMA.
To the tune of what SRA is saying?
$191,000.
$191,000 to demo 7 houses.
7 houses plus the asbestos abatement.
Sure. And what was that? Somewhere around
$50,000.
$50,000. Okay. All right.
So.
Okay, so at this point, we owe the SRA so the SRA demoed, when were the houses demoed completely? When was everything done?
I would say by August of 2023.
So you guys didn't even know these houses existed in 2020, in February of 2023 until February 24th.
Yeah.
And then y'all had them demoed, completed.
And that's getting the contracts.
Okay.
You know, it takes a little while because you have to, wait till Commissioner's Court. It's got to be voted on.
Sure.
It's got to be approved. We got the contracts in place and signed.
Gotcha.
Started the demolition.
But you're saying they were done by August 2023?
I would say they were done by August of 23.
Okay, next question. If I'm, this is just me talking. If I'm having problems with FEMA on giving me an extension from March until August, I would be jumping up and down like a Brazilian shortstop at my senators.
We did.
And what they say?
They talked to FEMA.
And nothing against Brazilian shortstops, I'm just saying.
Oh, we had a lot of our congressmen and senators talk to FEMA on our behalf, but it just didn't work out. So the grant wasn't closed out, so we were unable to appeal that decision.
Okay, so when did the grant finally close out?
All right, the grant was closed out, I want to say in 2024. TDEM paid $806,000 back to FEMA
Out of their own pocket. To cover us.
to close the grant out. All right, then we were able to file an appeal.
Okay.
We filed the first appeal in, I want to say March of, the dates may be a little wrong, but 2025. All right, maybe 2024. But we didn't get, in January, we got denied. And President Trump had just taken office.
January of what year?
I want to say 2025.
Okay.
So President Trump had just taken office. So we redid the appeal thinking, hey, maybe we'll have a better chance with the current administration. So we've refiled an appeal.
Right.
All right. We just got word last week that the appeal was denied due to, they listed out the time frame that had already been given to demo the houses.
What was the total time frame? Do you recall?
Well, the properties were bought out in 2020. So, and it was 2023 before they were finally demoed. So I don't know if that was what was in the total time frame they were looking at, or.
So basically, potentially close to 3 years.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no recourse at this point.
No recourse at this point.
And you basically have two groups. One paid for the demo, or one basically did the demo work at 190-something thousand.
Yes.
And then TDM took care of the check back to FEMA.
Back to FEMA.
To close out the grant.
To close out the grant for Newton County to be able to appeal.
What was the agreement around that move? Because, I've had a lot of.
There really was no agreement as far as TDEM.
They just made that decision on their own.
Yes.
To close out the grant.
Yes.
That is insanity to me, because I'll be honest with you, I've had a lot of loans in my life, and
well,
I've never had anybody I took out a loan with go and pay off the note for me,
yes,
and then turn around and try to put the.
Well, basically, Newton County owes TDEM.
Sure.
And they're going to get it from us one way or another, whether it's withholding further grant money.
Well, what they basically at this point, that is what they're doing.
Yes.
So it's just it's a play.
They're going to get it from us one way or another.
So their services are completely suspended.
Yes.
Until full payment is made.
Yes.
Okay. And based off of another denial.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any hope in any of this?
in the denial from FEMA, they did give us authorization to be able to sell the property back on,
Put it on the market.
put it on the market.
So my question is this. That doesn't make sense to me. So they come in, they set up a buyout.
Yes.
County buys out the properties with the government's money.
Flood damaged properties.
Flood damaged properties. Then they want you to give them money back to close out the
But hey,
because it wasn't demoed properly or in timely manner.
but hey, you can sell the property back to pay us back, or to pay the money back,
That
or to
sounds
re-
like some gangster stuff
or
to me.
recoup your losses. You can sell the property back.
Recoup your losses. Now, my question is this: how many acres are we actually talking about?
One track's 120 acres.
Come on now,
Another track is 35 acres.
right?
We have one that's 7.5, and these are along the riverbanks, along Cow Creek River, different creeks. So
So you can just put them back out
put them back out on the
the
market. They're basically great recreation property,
Yeah.
but
If you're gonna build on stilts.
yeah, build you a beach house.
Okay. Well, got anything else we need to make clear about all this? Because I mean, it's almost like right now everything's such a powder keg
It is.
where everybody's carrying around their own bucket of gasoline, and there's another group of folks that's in the matches business.
Yes.
And
So it's, do we pay it back or vote no to pay it back, or we need to audit to make sure. But this $806,000 that we have to pay back was used to buy real property that the county now owns. Hopefully we could sell it to get enough of our money back to pay for some of these, some of what we owe back. But
I mean, if we're talking about river bottom property down in Deweyville area,
now we've got 120 acres in the old Salem area.
okay.
It's Cow Creek and river frontage.
But I mean, what are we talking about?
It depends on
Price per acre?
depends on what you sell it for. If somebody wants to
No, I understand that. I'm just saying.
if somebody wants to buy it for recreational, hunt and lease type area,
Yeah.
it could fetch pretty good price.
Yeah.
Now Deweyville area, I would recommend if somebody wanted a 35-acre hayfield, that'd be a perfect spot for it. I wouldn't want to build a house on it, even though it was the first time they actually flooded in 100 years.
Okay.
This was Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah. Everything flooded.
Everything flooded. This was property that hadn't flooded for many, many years. So,
I got you. Okay.
or probably wouldn't have been nothing built on it.
So
One of them had an old dairy farm on it that'd been there since, the 50s.
since back whenever we were using cows for dairy.
Yes.
Recap a little bit here because. All right, let's go. We'll work backwards.
Okay.
Okay. Just got denied.
Yes.
Final denial
Yes.
on what?
Final denial on the $806,000 that was denied by FEMA for the 7 properties.
Okay. All right. SRA got an invoice to the county for $190,000.
Yes.
Okay. TDEM stepped out, paid the $800 to FEMA.
Yes.
So now FEMA is in the clear.
FEMA's in the clear.
TDEM is not in the clear because they fronted the $800,000,
Yes.
and they're the ones who are kind of the liaison between the counties and FEMA,
Yes.
or at least our county.
When the federal grants are distributed, they go to a state agency, whether it be General Land Office,
Sure.
The agricultural side,
Right.
or TDEM. So They're basically the go-between between the federal government and the actual grant recipient.
But they're still part of the federal government.
Yes.
Okay. So they're the ones. Okay. So FEMA has been cleared. TDEM no longer cleared.
Yes.
We're sitting here with 800,000 needs to go back to TDEM. We've got almost 200,000 going back to the SRA. The question then is, why do we need to pay any of it back?
Okay. You know, federal grants, hazard mitigation, if we do have another basic hurricane, flood, you know, there will be no more money coming to the, you know, we'd still get basic money from the GLO, but from FEMA for its Texas Department of Emergency Management,
Right.
you know, they could withhold
Funding.
withhold funding until the 806,000 is satisfied. So, and we're hoping that with the sale of some different properties, that the county can pay that back, and a lot of the properties that were bought out,
Right.
you know, included in these sales, with no deed restrictions, you know, people can build, like we said,
Yeah.
house on stilts,
Whatever.
recreational property. It can be used for that. Well, really, there's no deed restriction, so it can be used for whatever they want it to. And take that money from these sales, and because the county does not want to own a bunch of land.
Sure.
You know, we'd rather it be out on the tax rolls.
Right.
We're not a land management company.
No
you
doubt.
know.
But it makes sense now that TDM went ahead and cleared the situation with FEMA because they're part of government process.
Yes, and if they hadn't cleared it with FEMA, that would have put the state of Texas and put a whole lot more grants in jeopardy for the whole state of Texas, not just for Newton County. You know, if it showed the state of Texas owed, and it didn't just say Newton County, the state of Texas owed FEMA $806,000. Well, that's putting the whole state of Texas at risk as far as grants.
And that was communicated to you by TDM?
Yes.
So TDM went ahead and covered it?
Yes.
Okay. So the objective now is just to try to figure out how to sell off the properties,
Yes.
recoup whatever money you can, and pay down the 800,000 and the 190.
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know, there's some property at the lake we're going to get appraised.
Sure.
It's county owned that that we could probably sell or auction or whatever off, and
Right.
you know, get enough money to pay back Sabine River Authority. So
Okay.
we're looking into options to.
So basically, this idea that we're destitute with this deal really boils down to selling real estate.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, and TDM has asked for a down payment.
Sure.
You know, so instead of pulling it out of the county's funds, you know, we have $750,000 in a rainy day fund as far as investments and, you know, CDs.
Okay.
So the decision was made, hey, we'll pull the 225 from that CD, and then once the properties are sold, that money will be put back, because that is our last resort for if we have a hurricane.
Right.
Or, you know, that's money for the county to be able to operate on, or clean up debris, or, you know,
Whatever.
recover from a disaster. That's basically what we call our rainy day fund.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Okay. So there's a path forward.
yes,
Okay.
there is a path forward.
The interesting part to me is, considering the fact that you had no idea about any of this, and you didn't receive any emails or any correspondence from anybody in January or anything like that when you first came into office.
No.
Nothing.
Let me put it this way. If I received the email, and I don't think I did, but I've looked back, I wouldn't have known what they were talking about without, having
a little bit more context.
Yes, context on what it was for.
Okay.
Because I thought the flood buyouts, other than the few homes that were left to buy out, I thought that was complete.
Okay. But even at that, if you would have found out day one, you were still in the middle of a 6-month holdover,
Yes,
and that 6-month holdover or that 6-month extension was going to mature in March of what?
March of 2023.
Right. But
And
if you would have found out day one,
I still
it
didn't
still
have-
took 5 months for you guys once you found out. Still took 5 months for you.
We still had to get the contracts. We still had to, it had to be approved through court to get the contract, approved through court to appropriate the money to pay the debris monitoring company.
Right.
In 2022, the county basically had run out of money in August, so they used the American Rescue Plan, the ARPA funds, which was COVID money. County received $2.2 million. So they used those funds to basically operate the county until December 31st. So that money was used to pay salaries, wages, pay the county's bills. So
I guess my question is, so it kind of leads us into another conversation here. If the county was broke, like you say, and I remember, pretty vividly that was communicated when you initially ran.
yes,
And you still feel like the county was broke in 2022?
yes.
Okay.
The 2022 audit showed that the county had a rollover of $1 million and something dollars,
Okay.
but it didn't show where the money was rolled over from.
Okay.
All right,
Where do you think the money was rolled over from?
it was in Commissioner 1 and 2, Precinct 1 and 2, Commissioner Special. All right.
What does that mean when you say Commissioner
All right,
Special?
Commissioner Special is a dedicated road and bridge fund. All right,
So that was just money. So when the budget comes in, you got the road and bridge fund, indigent care, all this other stuff. So that was money that was inside, from what you're saying, couple of commissioners' funds rolled over.
yes,
And so it showed that there was that much money available for the county.
yes.
And
But
yet it was all
actually-
earmarked.
Actually, the county, it could only be used for the precinct's road and bridge.
Got it.
That's money set aside by the state to be used for road and bridge.
Okay.
So it cannot be used for law enforcement. It cannot be used for anything but road
It
and
can't
bridge.
be used to pay the note on the building here,
No, it can't be used
or
for
the lights or
anything. Is set aside by the state through dedicated funds for road and bridge.
Okay.
So that's what they use to work on the roads.
Sure.
But those precincts were able to save money for some projects they was wanting to work on.
Okay. So that is the only thing that rolled over.
I don't know 100% on that, but some of the ARPA money rolled over.
Okay.
There was like 270 or 280, less than 300,000 of ARPA funds
Okay.
rolled over.
Okay.
So the very first commissioner's court, they had defunded solid waste. So to keep the dumps running, did a budget amendment of $200,000 of the ARPA money to fund solid waste.
Why do you feel like that was the move? Why do you feel like that's what happened? I mean, because you're coming to the end of the year, or you're working on the budget, and you defund solid waste.
Well, at the time they were trying to basically get another entity to take over garbage for Newton County.
Okay.
Piney Wood Sanitation, City of Newton. They were looking at a couple different options to
Sure.
basically farm out the collection stations to another entity. So they chose not to fund it in the budget, sold off a lot of the equipment. So
Where did all that money go?
it went into the precincts, whatever.
Whatever precincts those
Yes.
they operate. Okay. Is there anything else you feel like the people need to know? Because I mean, like I say, some are running with gasoline and others are running with matches. So,
I know.
Yeah.
Basically, Newton County does owe the money back to the county. The money was not there's no paper trail on it. There's a steady paper trail of what property was bought. Newton County owns the real property. It was basically a fall down on not getting the properties tore down in the proper time.
Okay.
So
That's what the people need to know.
there is a paper trail.
Okay.
So
Don't be shocked if you get a open records request.
I know.
So. Judge Cochran, I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.